Welcome back to Stardust Studio 17 and our business series.
Great to be back.
Today, we're diving deep into customer service. You shared some really interesting material on what it actually means and how to really excel at it.
Yeah, that's the plan.
So our mission in this deep dive is basically to unpack all these insights and get to the core of what makes customer service effective.
Exactly. We've got a few different perspectives here, which should give us a pretty solid understanding, I think, of what customer service fundamentally is and why it's just so critical for any business that wants to succeed.
Okay, so let's start right at the beginning. What is customer service, fundamentally?
Yeah.
One of your sources, the Wiley Encyclopedia of Management, it calls it the assistance provided to those who patronize a business.
Right.
And it highlights it as a key factor in establishing value. But it also makes a point, which I thought was important, to separate this from just services generally.
That distinction is crucial, isn't it? Because services can be the core thing you sell, like, say, legal advice.
Or delivering an appliance, maybe.
Exactly. But customer service, singular. That's more like the support structure around whatever is being sold.
Right. It sort of underpins the main offering. The source says it's not usually a separate profit center. It's the mechanism that helps the customer get the full value from the main product or service.
Perfectly put. It supports the thing being sold. Could be a physical item like a blender or something intangible like financial advice.
And typically offered for free, yeah, as part of that support framework.
Usually, yes.
And another source you brought in reinforces this idea, describing it as the support and assistance offered before and after a purchase.
That before and after part is key. It tells you it's not just about troubleshooting when something goes wrong.
Definitely not just reactive.
No, it's woven into the whole journey. From when someone first thinks about buying all the way through their experience using the product or service and beyond.
Like buying a car, the service starts with the salesperson, but it continues with maintenance checks years down the line.
Exactly that kind of thing.
So it's really integrated into the entire customer experience.
Yeah.
Your sources seem to emphasize that it mostly happens during the delivery and exchange phase.
That's a primary touch point.
And customers have expectations about quality, not just for the main product, but for this accompanying service too. It's the whole package deal.
Absolutely. If you buy, say, a fancy coffee machine, you expect the machine to work well, obviously.
Yeah.
But you also expect clear instructions, maybe easy to reach support if you're confused, perhaps a simple return process if there's an issue. All that surrounding stuff, that's customer service, and it shapes your view.
Okay, so the goal then, as one source puts it, is basically to eliminate the gap between what customers expect and what they actually get.
Close that gap.
And when you do that, you get more satisfied customers, which leads to loyalty and then ultimately better financial results for the business. Makes sense, right?
It does. It's quite logical. If a company consistently meets, or even better, exceeds those service expectations, customers are just far more likely to come back.
And tell others.
And tell others, becoming advocates. That long-term relationship is so much more valuable than just one sale.
But it isn't just reactive, you said. The sources also stress its role in actually creating and communicating what the business offers. How does that work?
Well, think about frontline employees. The people interacting directly with customers day in, day out.
Okay.
They're often in the absolute best position to suggest improvements. They hear the complaints, the compliments, the suggestions firsthand. They know what's working on the ground and what's, well, not.
Ah, right. So they're like a direct line to customer feedback. That's incredibly valuable if you capture it.
Invaluable. Businesses that actually listen to their frontline staff and act on that intelligence, they gain a real edge. It drives innovation, helps refine what they offer.
And in a shot, for instance, those employees are also key in explaining the value of different products, guiding customers.
Exactly. They're not just ringing up sales. They're educating, building rapport, answering questions. They're effectively brand ambassadors.
Their attitude, how they handle things, it all shapes the customer's perception of the whole company.
Massively. Which brings us back to those frontline employees. Their role is just critical.
It seems so.
The more customer-oriented they are, good listeners, building rapport, being helpful, the better the customer feels about the service quality.
And that feeling directly influences whether they'll buy again. It impacts the seller's success.
Right. And this ties into something called the service profit chain. Have you come across that?
I've heard the term. The idea is that happy employees lead to happy customers, which leads to profit. Something like that.
That's the essence of it, yes.
Yeah.
It suggests that hiring the right people, developing them, supporting them, That leads to higher quality service delivery,
Okay.
which leads to more satisfied customers who become loyal, and that ultimately drives profitability and growth. It connects internal culture directly to external success.
So investing in your employees who deal with customers literally pays off on the bottom line.
That's what the theory and some evidence suggests. One study you looked at actually put numbers on it. A small increase in employee satisfaction led to measurable bumps in customer satisfaction and even revenue. It's tangible.
Wow, okay. So let's shift gears a bit. How has customer service changed? Traditionally, it was mostly face-to-face, right?
Primarily, yes. Direct interaction.
But your sources highlight a really big shift, driven by customers wanting more.
Hmm.
What was it? Availability, accessibility, and accountability.
Exactly those three. And technology has been the massive enabler of that shift.
No kidding. We went from face-to-face, then added the phone, and now it's all mobile communications, global call centers running 24/7.
It reflects our always-on world, doesn't it? Customers expect help whenever, wherever, and tech lets businesses try to meet that globally.
And interestingly, technology also brought about self-service. That's a huge change.
Huge. Think about self-checkouts in supermarkets.
Or airline check-in kiosks. Or those automated phone menus. Maybe less popular, but still.
Yeah, sometimes less popular. But they give customers more control, more convenience, for certain tasks anyway.
And mobile tech pushes that even further, getting support on your phone anywhere, even frontline staff, using tablets to help you on the spot.
And the internet itself, company websites with FAQs, troubleshooting forums, online chat, remote support, it's opened up so many channels.
The availability and accessibility are just massively increased.
Though one point your sources raise is choosing the right channel. Self-service is great for simple things.
Checking an order status, maybe.
Exactly. But for complex problems or emotional situations, that human touch is often still vital. Getting that balance right between tech efficiency and human empathy, that's key.
That makes sense. Now, the third driver you mentioned was accountability. Technology increased that too.
Oh, absolutely. Think social media.
Right. One bad experience can go viral.
Precisely. Both good and bad experiences can get amplified incredibly quickly. That famous case with the musician United Airlines breaking his guitar,
Yeah, the song he wrote about it.
that video went everywhere. It's a classic example of how poor customer service, amplified by technology, can have really serious, far-reaching consequences for a brand's reputation.
A single interaction suddenly becomes a global PR crisis.
It really can. It just highlights that every single touch point matters in this digital age.
But on the flip side, technology also helps companies, doesn't it? They can track performance, gather feedback instantly.
Yes, that's the other side of the coin. Data analytics gives them amazing insights. They can track response times, satisfaction scores, identify common problems, see what customers are saying online.
So they can monitor things in real time and hopefully improve faster.
Exactly. It allows for a much more proactive and data-driven approach to managing and improving the service operation.
So when you pull it all together, customer service really is fundamental. It touches almost every interaction a customer has with a company.
Pretty much, yeah.
And it directly hits the bottom line. So those frontline employees and the tech supporting them are both crucial for success.
It's like an ecosystem, really. You need the human element, empathy, problem solving, working alongside efficient, accessible tech. One without the other isn't optimal.
One of your sources had a really nice summary of effective customer service. It said the aim is ensuring satisfaction, retaining customers, and growing the business by providing positive experiences, addressing concerns quickly, empowering the agents, fostering teamwork inside the company,
Empowering agents is a big one.
and building trust and loyalty that goes beyond just fixing the immediate problem. It's the why behind it all, focusing on that long-term relationship.
That sums it up beautifully. It captures that shift from just handling transactions to actually building relationships. It's not just fixing things, it's nurturing that connection over time.
So, as we've kind of explored in this deep dive, customer service clearly isn't just some isolated department.
Definitely not.
It's foundational to a successful business. It means really understanding what customers expect, giving your team the tools and support they need, and using technology smartly to build those positive, lasting connections.
Well said. And remembering that every single interaction is an opportunity. An opportunity to either build that relationship or potentially damage it. Consistency in delivering positive experiences, that's what drives loyalty and growth in the long run.
Thank you for listening to the Stardust Studio 17 podcast.